Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatan min qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. We'll be starting in about 4 minutes. So if you join us live, just say salam and tell us where you're calling from. And inshallah ta'ala, we'd love for us to get started on time in about 4 minutes. In the meantime, I'll be loading up the presentation slides and getting us nice and ready, inshallah. Alrighty, got a few people coming in. So you just joined us, just get in the chat and say salam to each other and get to tell us where you're calling from, what do you normally do, and love to get to know inshallah ta'ala. This will be a fun 1 hour together on figuring out how to balance between work, family, and spirituality in Ramadan. One of the big challenges that came out during our survey we did about a couple of weeks ago. So let's get started in 3 minutes, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. All right, people are coming into the room. So if you're new to the room, welcome to the Productive Muslim webinar. Today we're about to start our first webinar for Ramadan Prep Week. If you're in the room, just click on the chat button and just type in where you're calling from, what's your name, and what do you do together. We got a few people rolling in so far. About 30 people have rolled in so far. So we're about to start in about 2 minutes. So Uzma from Ottawa, Assalamu alaikum Uzma, good to have you with us. And then we have a few others joining in, inshallah ta'ala. So we're starting in 2 minutes. And this will be more about balancing work, family, spirituality. This will be a pretty hands-on, practical session, inshallah ta'ala. So I really, really hope that we all get benefits. Michelle from New Jersey, inshallah, or Najla. Okay, welcome. Bismillah, starting in 2 minutes. Alrighty. Okay, so type in the chat and we've got about 50 of you in the room, so we should see 50 introductions going on. So yes, please say salam to everybody in the room, where you're calling from, and even we're going to share a question or two you want to ask in advance before everyone else jumps in the Q&A. We'll definitely have a Q&A coming up, but inshallah ta'ala, we'll start in 1 minute now, 1 minute. Wa alaikum salam, Sabika. Thank you for joining us. Excellent. Okay, wonderful. Starting in 1 minute, inshallah ta'ala. So this is the Ramadan Prep Week Webinar 1. So I hope you guys are all excited. I think most of you by now have heard the news that probably Ramadan is not starting tomorrow. So those in the US at least will find out. So we have Hajra from London. We have Zakaria from Bulgaria. We have Sabrina from Nairobi. Awesome, mashallah. This is an international crowd. Thank you. Thank you so much for you guys making the time for this. Suma from Michigan. Salam, I was in Michigan last weekend. It was fun. Thanks to guys tuning in again. We have Asif from Florida, welcome. Keith from USA, welcome. Awesome, thanks a lot for you guys joining. Really appreciate you guys joining at this hour. Sina from Netherlands, wow. Okay, we got a truly good audience, and I would love to hear. Mariam from Nigeria, welcome. Chris from Michigan, salam Chris. So we're gonna have a really fun time, inshallah. Hassan from Netherlands. And it's 5:30 p.m. and let's get started. So this is the first webinar of Ramadan Prep Week on how to balance between work, family, and spirituality in Ramadan. This webinar is sponsored by Launch Good Ramadan Challenge, which is an incredible platform to help automate your giving for 30 days. We'll talk more about that in the coming few minutes, inshallah ta'ala. If you haven't heard about Launch Good Ramadan Challenge, it is a quick way for you to basically automate your sadaqah, automate a charity during the holy month. So for 30 days, you set the amount you want to set for yourself. You want to give every single day. A launcher will do the heavy lifting for you and choose some amazing, inspiring causes, inshallah ta'ala. So if you really are interested to be part of this campaign, we'll talk more about it during the webinar, inshallah ta'ala. Do check out launchgood.com/productive Muslim. So one of the reasons why we started this webinar with this first one is because, to be honest, when we sent the survey about a couple of weeks back, and we asked people, are you nervous about Ramadan? And it seemed like a question that people were not comfortable asking, but we asked that question because we realized, through kind of emails we're receiving and through talking to a few people, that there was this kind of nervousness about Ramadan, especially the Ramadan in the Northern Hemisphere. It's in the summer, it's long fasting hours, and the sort of late night prayers and lack of sleep, and most of you are professionals or working, And there was this kind of concern, even though we're excited for Ramadan, we all love Ramadan. It's a great time of the year, a great month. We enjoy the blessing of Ramadan. But there was this nervousness in the back of our minds. So we asked the first question: what is your number one concern about Ramadan? Like, what is it really that concerns about Ramadan? And I would love for you guys in the chat, to just chime in as well. If you have, if your other concerns are not captured here, do type them in, because we want to understand what is it that sometimes that plays in the back of our mind that makes us a little bit nervous about Ramadan, a little bit uncomfortable, maybe perhaps even worried that, are we able to make it? And it's not that we're not going to be able to make it. It's not that, alhamdulillah, most of you have experienced previous Ramadans. If this is your first Ramadan, don't worry, you'll survive, you'll be fine. It's something that you'll experience, inshallah. But the concern, that number one concern that came about was that, is being able to balance between work, family, and acts of worship. And when I saw that, almost like close to 70% of you saying that, it really hit me that it's not that people are nervous about Ramadan because of Ramadan. It's not like, oh my God, I'm scared about Ramadan, or it's not about the fasting, or it's the long night prayers or lack of sleep per se. It's this idea that all of us want to become a better version of ourselves. All of us enter Ramadan and really hope to be the best we can. And then we realize that because of the fasting, because of the sort of lack of sleep at night, because of long work, perhaps going to work in the morning, we're concerned that maybe we'll not be the best version of ourselves. We're concerned that we'll probably feel groggy and tired and lethargic and slow and maybe a bit cranky and hangry, and just we just don't want to talk to anybody because it's Ramadan, and that sort of plays to our mind. We have this image of us having this amazing, beautiful, spiritual month, but then the realities of the month make us a little bit uncomfortable for us. So I want to hear from you. Just hearing that, does that sort of ring a bell with you? Does that ring a bell, the idea that it's not per se the Ramadan itself? It's not like, oh my God, I'm scared of Ramadan itself. It's more about how the challenge of Ramadan, whether it's the fasting or lack of sleep, or even Keith is mentioning oversleeping perhaps, all these things playing together to basically stop us from being able to be the best version of ourselves physically, the best version of ourselves socially with people around us. And does that ring a bell with all of you? Just make sure that I'm on the right track here, and that we are getting, I'm on the right track in terms of trying to explain the results of this short item. Okay, so Angel's mentioned bigger concern of Ramadan is I'm achieving my goals. Okay, so Angel's about achieving goals, and again, this is exactly it. I mean, Angel's, the idea is that being able to, for you to be able to achieve your goals, you need to be able to balance across all your roles. I think that's the kind of the challenge there in inshallah. So let's have a little bit of what I call the Ramadan and I call the Ramadan productive debate. And again, I'm not trying to create two sides here, but sometimes it's interesting to have this debate because I want us all to think about this from a practical perspective. Think about the impact of how we think about Ramadan, because this all comes down to how we approach Ramadan, how we think about Ramadan. And the moment we can shift our thinking about Ramadan, that's how we're going to enjoy, experience Ramadan to the fullest. If we don't change our thinking, our beliefs, our attitudes towards Ramadan, it might actually sort of infiltrate the rest of the month for us and might not help us achieve our goals, or might not help us be the best version of ourselves. So the debate goes like this. There are people, and I'm sure you've heard of them, and again, I'm not taking sides. I'm just going to put two sides here, and you guys tell which sides you feel you're on. So on one side, there are people who say, hey, Ramadan is the month of worship. Ramadan is the month of, ibadah, of worship, of Quran, of fasting, of prayer. And to be honest, let's put everything else aside. Work can sort of wait in the back burner. Family, I'll do the minimum, but not sort of get too much concerned. Community events, I don't want to get involved. I just want to focus on my personal acts of worship and to really, really be the best I can there. And and they really sort of go all out on that front. They really push themselves on one side, and they sort of ignore, or maybe they perhaps play down some of those areas. And to be honest, when I worked in different parts of the world, and I remember there were times I used to work in the Muslim countries and non-Muslim countries, and sometimes it's funny to see different approach to Ramadan. Some people, I would see that they would just go to work and basically just turn off. I had a friend of mine who yesterday told me that he blocked off in his calendar from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. every single day, because basically he didn't want anyone to disturb him during that time so that he can sleep in this office. Somebody also said, actually, I remember passing by a cubicle of somebody, and they were on the floor snoring at work. So there's that one side. Say, hey, I'm focusing on my worship, I'm focusing on my ibadah, and I'm going to cut down on activities because I really want to get this worship done properly in Ramadan. The second sort of when we camp, perhaps, is people would say, hey, let's be practical, let's be pragmatic. Ramadan is quote unquote just another month kind of thing. And for me, yes, I'll try my best in terms of, do some extra ibadah here and there, but life has to continue. I gotta be, the best I can at work. I gotta, just do my best, and I'm not gonna push myself any harder. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do the fasting and everything else, but I'm not gonna go all out and affect my work performance. So I guess I want to ask you now, which side of the debate are you falling to? Which side do you relate to? Which side of the debate? It's not about right or wrong. It's just a matter of which side of the debate you're right now thinking about, and what questions do you have in mind as you think about these two sides of the debate. So let me know which part of these two sides. The one side that says, side A that says, hey, focus on spirituality, ignore everything else. Side B that says, yeah, don't kill yourself, spirituality. Do the basic minimum to get through Ramadan, I guess, and just focus on, be pragmatic, be practical, and just live your life as normal. So which one of these two do you feel, are you leaning towards, or either of them or none of them? I would love to hear more about. So I'm saying he's more leaning towards the first one. Okay. And who else? Who else would like to chime into there? Okay. Does anyone else like to chime in? So Fatima is more leaning to the first one. Okay. And who else? Let's hear a third person here. Okay, I was going to say, if I had a choice to take a month off, I would. Okay. I was saying a mix between the two. Hina saying somewhere in between. Okay. Someone said, I'd love to be in side A, but the reality is I'm stuck in side B. Okay, great. So I think you're all sort of sharing this. Now, okay, this is a bit of a trick question, because to be honest with you, the term here that I use, it's about how productive you want to be, right? We translate productivity to work concept, meaning productivity is more output over input, meaning how much work I get done. Then this debate seems like there are two sides. Those who say, forget about productivity, focus on spirituality. And those who say, no, you got to still be productive at work and ignore everything else, and maybe just don't kill yourself on the spiritual front. But I want the reason it's a trick question, because I want us to play a little, to rethink this whole term productivity, this whole idea, what it means to be productive, and rethink it from a Muslim perspective. Again, the Productive Muslim Company, we're doing research on productivity and science for the past 10 years. And one of the definitions that we came up with to just help us think about productivity from a holistic perspective is that productivity is about managing your energy levels, managing your focus, and managing the version of yourself. Let me put it this differently. Imagine if you are tired, right? You have no lack of energy. Then I don't care how much focus you have or how much time you have, you'll not be productive. You'll be so tired. Imagine that you have energy, you're buzzing, you're bouncing up on the wall, you're just buzzing up and down, but you are distracted. You're overly distracted with phone, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, there's so many projects. Then it doesn't matter how much energy you have or how much time you have, you'll still not be productive because you're not focused. Imagine you have energy and focus, but you just don't have time, right? You're just overwhelmed with to-dos. You just have so many projects. You have so many things to fit in your own 24 hours cycle, and you just don't have enough time. You also cannot be productive. So for you to be productive, and here's the thing, in terms of you need to be productive, you need to have your energy, your focus, and time. And this applies across all spheres of your life, because your spirituality needs energy, focus, and time. Your work needs energy, focus, and time. Your family needs energy, focus, and time. Your social commitments needs energy, focus, and time. Every single aspect of your life, in order for you to become productive, holistic, you need to have energy, focus, and time. So imagine now we redefine productivity. It's not about output of, it's not about work only. It's about how am I going to manage my energy, focus, and time during Ramadan so that I can be the best version of myself across my roles. Let me put this in other words. It's more like, if I want to have a productive lifestyle, if I want to really achieve that balance between work, spirituality, home, family, then it's not about me choosing sides. It's not about me trading sides, or me saying I'll let go of something so I can focus on something else. It's saying, how can I make smart choices with my energy, focus, and time, so that I can maximize my performance, so I can increase my capacity, so that I can really be the best version that I can across all my roles. Does this make sense? I want to make sure that I'm making sure that I got the sense. Does this make sense? Right? It's the idea that it's not about choosing sides. It's not saying, oh, let me focus my energy, focus and time in one area and ignore everything else. It's saying, I need to make smart choices every single day. I need to make smart choices with my energy, with my focus, with my time, so that I really can maximize my potential across all my roles. Now, we're going to talk about exactly how you balance that and exactly what proportions towards the end of this webinar. But for now, I just want to make sure this definition is really clear for everybody else. So it's not about picking sides. It's not about putting all your eggs in one basket, as they put it. It's about saying, well, I really need to make sure I make some, I need to make this energy, focus, and time towards the sort of the best version of myself. Now, with that in mind, the first step towards being productive in Ramadan, the first step towards achieving this balance, to understand how can I be the best version of myself, how can I try be able to balance in work and family and commitments and spirituality and still have a really inspiring, productive, spiritually fulfilling Ramadan. It starts from here. It starts from how you think about Ramadan, how you talk about Ramadan, and inshallah, how you experience Ramadan. Let's be honest. Sometimes you probably hear this in the language, right? You've probably gone to iftar events, or you probably go to maybe some dinner with some family and friends, and you hear the language. Oh man, Ramadan's coming. Oh goodness. Inshallah khair. I don't know how I'm going to do this year. It's going to be summer. It's going to be long. It's going to be like 15 hours, or for some of you like 20 hours. And just from the language, you can hear the thinking that goes behind. The thinking that says that Ramadan is stressful. Ramadan is actually a month that will make us, almost like it's a burden, and almost like the lack of enthusiasm about the whole month, because we're just thinking, oh, it's coming. We're not sure we're going to handle it. So I want us to shift those attitudes, shift those thinking. And we'll speak about three types of shift. The first shift is shifting from being stressed about Ramadan to challenging ourselves during Ramadan. The second thing about is to stop thinking about Ramadan in terms of scarcity, but to think about Ramadan in terms of barakah. And I'll explain that when I come to it, inshallah. And the third part is instead of trying to survive Ramadan, to how can you thrive in Ramadan? And I'll explain each of these in detail. I'll make sure that all of you right now are still on board. Anything that we have not, are you guys okay? I can see that in the chat. So far, are we good? So far, so good? All right, we have 100 people who have signed in so far. So again, thank you for being here with us. We really, really appreciate you guys joining in. Okay, so it's a perception. So Haina's saying, yes, it's normally the perception. A lot of it plays in the back of mental mind. Haina, excellent point. So I think a lot of times we will face a situation where we're just thinking about something, and the more we think about it, it kind of becomes our reality, right? So let's talk about how can we change our mindset from stress to challenge, from scarcity to barakah, and from surviving to thriving, inshallah. So let's do that, inshallah. So let's talk about the first approach. Think about Allah from stress to challenge. Now, imagine that you looked at Ramadan not just as a stressful time of the year, or something that's like burdened time of the year, or something like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be like stressed out. It's going to be hard. I've got work and I've got this to do and I've got to do Taraweeh. Imagine you change that mindset to it's a challenge. And it's not any challenge. It's imagine like, okay, let me put it this way. How many times, if you probably had this experience, if a friend of yours or a family member or a kid towards something, what happens when they challenge you, right? Let's say a friend of yours says, hey, I challenge you to eat vegetables for a week, or I challenge you to go running for half an hour. Or your boss says, I challenge you to complete this work before the deadline. What happens when we are thrown the challenge? What happens in the back of our mind? Tell me what goes on in the back of our mind when someone's challenged, when you're given a challenge. What feeling do you get inside of you? Okay, you rise up to the challenge. Exactly, Angel. We rise up to the challenge. We get excited. We feel like, okay, I can do this. Yeah, we becomes excitement. Like, yes, I can do this. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to this. I'm not dreading this anymore. I'm looking forward to this. Right? You go harder, Serene. Excellent. Exactly. Right? It motivates you. Perfect. So think about this challenge. It's not challenging. It's not a challenge from your boss. It's not a challenge from your family member. It's not a challenge from a friend. It's a challenge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, I'm challenging you with this month. I'm going to give you, this is the conditions. You're going to fast for X number of hours. And I'm going to encourage you to pray extra prayers and pray, and recite extra Quran. And I'm going to give you amazing rewards in this month, like incredible rewards in this month. But it's a challenge. And now you're like, whoa, you get suddenly the shift changes. Instead of being a burden, you're like, Allah subhanahu is challenging me, almost asking, telling me, show me what you got. Show me the best version of you. Because think about the verse of fasting, right? يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام أعوذ بالله الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Allah subhanahu says in the Quran that, oh, you believed, decreed upon you is fasting like it was decreed to those before you, so that you may achieve that consciousness. And for those of you who've been following in the Ramadan prep week, what did I say about consciousness? What did I say about that word taqwa? What is about that meaning of that word? And if any of you who read that article maybe would like to share, what is about that word taqwa that perhaps we misunderstood, that really makes Ramadan really a challenge, not just something that we think we have to have to go through and push ourselves through. Let me see if you guys read my articles. Okay, so if I don't hear a response within the next 30 seconds, I'm thinking I'm gonna have to resend the article to you guys. Okay, so I mentioned that it's part of being protected, but also part of it was it's about being conscious. It's about being conscious and really thinking through, like, I'm being conscious of everything I say, everything I do, and just being that God conscious throughout the month of Ramadan, really achieve that God consciousness. That is the purpose of Ramadan, to help us all achieve God consciousness. Now, how do you achieve God consciousness? Now, imagine if you want to achieve God consciousness by just like dragging your feet and like, okay, let me just go through Ramadan and hopefully I survive Ramadan. You achieve God consciousness by being aware, being alert, being like, this is a challenge, right? I need to make through this challenge until I achieve that God consciousness, right? So that step, right, that shift from making Ramadan being a stressful situation to Ramadan being a challenge, that will automatically get us excited, or automatically get us, up in our feet and say, yes, we can do this. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to this. Now, for you to have a great Ramadan challenge, you need to figure out the why for yourself. And what I mean by why is that, what is it that you love this Ramadan to do for you? Yes, we all want to achieve that God consciousness, but how will that God consciousness translate to your personal life? For some of you, achieving God consciousness might mean that you'll stop backbiting. For some of you, achieving God consciousness might mean that you'll start building relationship with the Quran. For some of you, to achieve God consciousness is that you will start perhaps, giving more in charity. Each one of us is on a different journey. Each one of us is going through this journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with different levels. So sometimes there's something that, someone else might not find challenging, but you might find challenging. I did this workshop in Dallas a couple of weeks ago, and someone said, actually, my challenge is to pray on time. Someone else says, my challenge is to pray on time and Sunnah prayers. Someone else says, actually, my challenge is not praying on time, Sunnah prayers. My challenge is to pray the night prayers. So each one of us has this little challenge within themselves, something that will help them, push them, and help them, go above and beyond what they normally do, whether spiritually, whether physically, whether socially. And that's your homework, is to find out what's that why, what's that challenge. So yes, the bigger challenge, the challenge all of us as Muslim community are being challenged, as to achieve that God consciousness. But the small why is like, what is it about this Ramadan? What is it going to challenge me to do differently? See, Ramadan comes and just completely like throws the spanner in the works, right? Literally, we go through Ramadan and suddenly our routine is out of the window, our sleep is out of the window, our meals out of the window. So suddenly it's like it just completely kind of gives you a wake up call, reset button. Like, okay, now that all of this stuff's out of the window, well, if you're going to reconstruct your life back with God consciousness being the theme of that month, then how would I reconstruct it differently? How will I choose something that will help me make the challenge? That's the key word, inshallah. So make an Ramadan challenge, have a clear why. The third thing is to make sure that when you set yourself these goals, don't set yourself easy goals, okay? A lot of us do this, right? Okay, let's say you're used to reciting Quran every month, every Ramadan, for example, then I'm going to double it. You're used to praying, 8 rak'ahs of Taraweeh. Why not stretch yourself a little bit and say, you know what, I'm going to pray maybe I'll pray 20 rak'ahs instead. Like, try to get yourself out of your comfort zone this Ramadan. This is how you turn Ramadan from being just another month of the year to a challenge. And by the way, this challenge should basically, from a neuroscience perspective, it creates what's called good stress. It creates those good stress. The brain gets excited. You don't feel those lethargy. You don't feel overwhelmed. The brain thinks like, wow, this is something that gets a little bit excited, a little bit nervous. So think of a challenge, something that you normally don't do, and say, I'm going to try to do this. I did a workshop in Vancouver last year, and one of the participants said, our challenge this Ramadan is to get to know my neighbors, because I honestly don't know my neighbors and I feel really uncomfortable. I'm introverted, I'm shy, but I'm going to challenge myself as part of being God conscious and knowing that the Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to know our neighbors. I'm going to go out and know our neighbors, for example. That was a stretch goal for them. Now, again, for some of you, like knowing your neighbors, like, hey, what's the big deal? I know all my neighbors, no big deal. Fine. Find a different challenge, whether on a spiritual front, a physical front, social front. Choose a challenge. Choose something that makes you a little bit nervous, a little bit uncomfortable, but that's the make it happen, inshallah. All right, and finally, make these challenges smart. Make them really practical and smart. So I'm going to look back at the chat. I know you guys have been going really. So Claire is talking about Quran with Tajweed. And so, all right. So Keith's saying fired up. Awesome. That's great. Okay. Series of image workout. We'll talk about exercise. I'll tell you when our exercise for that is coming up, inshallah. Okay. All right. So Hina's saying about speech, anger, snapping, and silly things. Okay. Don't worry. You'll make it. You'll do it, Hina. Good job. So that's the first shift in the mind. So as a little homework, and I hope you guys don't mind homeworks. I know you guys love homeworks. So as a little homework this webinar, I want you to think about 3 things. A, what are those goals that will make your Ramadan a little bit challenging for you? And out of those goals, you have like 3-4 goals. Set 3 to 5 goals. Don't set too many goals. That's another thing we do to ourselves. Don't kill yourself. Set 3 to 5 goals. Like, these are my Ramadan goals. Ideally, these goals should not be like achievement goals. So it's not about how many Qur'ans can I finish in Ramadan. Think about them being process goals. For example, I'm going to spend 30 minutes each day with the Qur'an. Because if you set up a process goal or habit goal, it becomes more likely that you will continue with that goal after Ramadan. Instead of you just putting an achievement goal, which is, I finished the Quran, tick. I gave $1,000 in charity, tick. Think of a process goal. Think of a goal that you can stick to for 30. I think that will be more of a process or habit or routine, so that hopefully some of that routine would last outside Ramadan. So choose those Ramadan goals, 3 to 5 of these kind of how to process goals. And then think of one of them would be a stretch goal. One of them will make you a little bit nervous, a little bit like, whoa, if I could do that, like that would be really good, right? And ideally make sure that's measurable, make sure that you know exactly, that it's positive, that you guys know how to measure it. So for some of you, if it's a not getting angry, that will not be you might say that's being a stretch goal for yourself, but think of how to state it more positively. Things like, I don't know, I will, when someone tries to make me angry, I will smile instead, or I will do something nice to them. I'll make dua for them, or I'll pray for them. And I'll try to, reduce those incidences from, let's say, 5 incidences of getting triggered to like 1. So try to think about something that's measurable, that's stretching for you. If you're like, wow, if I could do that, I'll feel really good about myself, inshallah. And keep track of those goals. Now, the last question is, say, the obstacles I might face. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to goal setting, a lot of us, when we set goals, we're really good at setting goals, but we're not very, very good at following through. And actually, this comes back to a flaw sometimes people call it a flaw in positive psychology, where sometimes positive psychology tell you, just imagine this beautiful goal, imagine this beautiful future. And if you just purely focus on the end results, our brain gets tricked and think, oh, that's actually our current reality, and doesn't bother actually, figuring out how to solve that goal. So instead, yes, think about that positive goal you want to achieve for yourself. Think about that positive, use the process you'll sit for yourself. I'm going to sit for 1 hour, recite Quran. I'm going to get every day, going to give $10 in charity. I'm going to, make sure that I don't snap at my children, for example. But think of the obstacles you might face trying to achieve that goal. Maybe, for example, if you say, I want to recite my Quran, but you know what, I come back from home so tired, I want to nap. That's the only time I get to read Quran. Then I need to think of around it and start getting your brain to creatively come up with ideas like, how can I walk around how to achieve this goal? Right now, I know myself. I might not achieve this goal if I just go with the flow and expect miracles to happen. So, what obstacles I might face, and how will I overcome those obstacles? The moment you start thinking about how am I overcome those obstacles, that's you priming your brain to start thinking almost creatively on new routines, new habits, new ideas you can try and experiment with during Ramadan to help you achieve these goals. So I want to pause here, make sure that does this make sense? Does this make sense? Okay. So I was saying about what's stretch goals. So stretch goals are things that make you a little bit uncomfortable. So imagine, like example, it's a goal that stretches you, that makes you go above and beyond what you normally do. Whether it's your spiritual, whether it's physical, whether it's social, anything that makes you go above and beyond what you normally do. Okay. Okay. So again, yeah, Keith, the obstacles, if you find ways around them, that's going to help, inshallah. Okay. Okay, awesome. Wow, I love how you guys are just talking to each other and sharing ideas, and this is great. I really appreciate you guys chiming in. And this has been a fun group, inshallah. We have got 3 more days of these webinars, 2 more days of this webinar, so I'm glad you guys are already getting to know each other, inshallah. Okay, so Hira is asking, what do you mean by having a clear why? So a clear why would be, you want to find out, almost the intention, the driver for that why. For example, if someone says, I'm trying to, finish the Quran twice. I'm trying to build a relationship with the Quran for 30 days. Well, I'm going to have the relationship with the Quran for 30 days. Then the why there is that you feel like right now maybe feel disconnected from the Quran, and you just don't want that feeling anymore. You want after Ramadan to be truly connected to the Quran. Maybe for you, the why would be, for example, let's say on a social front, maybe that, you feel really uncomfortable from your neighbors. You don't know your neighbors, you don't interact with them, you feel really uncomfortable. So your why for you, the driver for you is that A, the Prophet ﷺ, taught us to be good to our neighbors, to know our neighbors, and B, that you want to feel safe in your environment. And Ramadan is a great time to get to know your neighbors. So have a personal why, something like the thing that will help you push through your goals when you don't feel like it. Let me put it that way, right? So think about any goals you're trying to push through. Sometimes there are days that you just don't feel like it. For example, for those of you who, trying to lose weight, for example, maybe the thing that helps you push your goals, or you want to fit in a certain dress that you normally wear, or certain clothes you normally used to wear. So that why will be a driver for you. For Ramadan, think of whys that really are connected spiritually. And hopefully the ultimate why, of course, is to achieve God consciousness. The ultimate why is to become a better version of ourselves, to be these human beings with beautiful souls who are God conscious, who are productive, who are helpful, who are awesome, productive citizens of this world, basically. So I'm hoping that, that's on a high level, but think of the why that really relates to you, that you can connect to, inshallah. Okay. Yes, Shayan. So that's what I mean by SMART. Make them specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Excellent. Okay. All righty. Okay. Good stuff. Awesome. So with that in mind, let's talk the second mindset. The second mindset shift is to move away from this scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset goes like this. Oh my God, there's not enough time in Ramadan. Oh my God, I'll be so tired in Ramadan. Oh my God, I'll be so hungry in Ramadan, right? Scarcity, always thinking in terms of the things you'll lose out, the things you'll miss out, the things that you will just not work through, right? And that scarcity mindset is from shaitan. Now, I know you're all going to say, hey, shaitan is locked up in Ramadan, so it's not from shaitan. Probably not from shaitan, probably from myself. But right now, before Ramadan, Shaitan is playing all these games with us. He's like, oh boy, Ramadan is coming. It's going to be really tough for you. You should maybe cancel all those meetings. Maybe you should cut down work commitments. Maybe you should cut down on family commitments. Maybe you should not invite people over iftar. Maybe you should just not, maybe you should, try to, push away any, don't pray too much Taraweeh at night. Just do as little as possible because, it's Ramadan is coming. So right now, Shaitan is working really hard because he's going to be locked up for a whole month. He's working really extra hard to put all these ideas to make us feel scarcity, right? Now, I want you to just destroy that mindset and think in terms of barakah. Now, what is this word barakah mean? Barakah is the actual definition of barakah is the attachment of divine goodness to a thing. So think about it this way. Barakah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts this barakah, this is, people call blessing, people call grace, people call, this attachment of things. When He attaches barakah to your time, you could do more with your time. If He attaches barakah to your sleep, you might sleep little but feel really well rested. If Allah attaches barakah to your your work, you get so much stuff done. Allah attaches barakah to your family, you feel happy in your family. Allah attaches barakah to your apartment. You might have a small apartment, but it feels like a palace. If Allah attaches barakah to your food, you might eat little but feel really full and you don't need much. So barakah, this is, the beautiful thing about Ramadan, it is actually the month of barakah. So if it's the month of barakah, so think about, instead of you holding back, instead of you thinking, I'm not gonna move, I'm not gonna do anything extra, I'm gonna cut down, I'm gonna just save my calories because if I make one move, I'll lose some. I'm gonna tap into this fountain of barakah in Ramadan. Ramadan is the month of barakah. And I just want to share a personal story here. When I started writing my book, I was struggling to write my book. For months, I was trying to write my book. I had ideas here and there, but I really struggled to write my book. And it was like a few Ramadans ago, in the month of Ramadan, when everyone's thinking maybe that's not the best time for the book, you feel hungry, you feel tired, you're not going to be focused. I said, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day. That's my goal. I'm going to write 1,000 words a day and write my book. And it was incredible how just tapping into that source of barakah, within 30 days, I almost completed 3/4 of the book. And it's funny because at the end of the month, I thought, great, 3/4 of the book done. I should be able to finish it within a couple more weeks. But it took me like 3 more months before I actually finished the entire book. That last third took 3 more months to complete. This is just a testament to the barakah of Ramadan. So if you're somebody who thinks that you should get down to Ramadan, that you should not do anything, not get involved in anything, and just really go to the bare minimum because you're trying to survive Ramadan, I want you to rethink that mindset. Take off that mindset and think, no, Ramadan is the month of barakah. I'm going to go all out in Ramadan. I'm going to really go out all out spiritually work. How can I be the best version of myself? And just to let you know, where does barakah come from? Of course, the whole month is a month of barakah and blessing because that is the month the Quran is revealed. But it's just the fact is, the fact that you're fasting, the fact that you're giving lots in charity, you're making a lot more dua, you're reciting a lot more Quran, you're perhaps spending time in the masjid in something called i'tikaf, which is like seclusion in the masjid, and really spending time to rethink things through. And just achieving this taqwa, this God consciousness, all of these factors, these are all confirmed sources of barakah in the Quran and Sunnah. If you cite the Quran, you read the Sunnah, each one of these is a source of barakah. Each one of these increases the amount of barakah that comes in your life. So a whole month of doing this literally transforms you. So the mindset shift here, and I hope this is clear. The mindset shift here is to move away from a scarcity mindset that, oh my God, I don't have enough time for anything. I don't have enough energy for anything. I don't have enough focus for anything. And I should cut down on whatever commitments I have, to actually saying, no, this is the month of barakah. Now, of course, a caveat here is to make sure that those things you get involved in are beneficial things. So it's not like, say, okay, I'm gonna go all out in terms of barakah. I'm gonna do basically things that are completely basically non-beneficial, non-useful. It's like, no, I'm gonna literally, tap into things that are beneficial, whether it's work related, whether it's family related, whether it's spirituality related, whether it's socially, community related. You're gonna go all out and make the most of this month. Again, does this make sense? I wanna make sure that I put things, this makes sense. Okay, so Khadija said, yes, it makes sense. Jamila, thank you. It makes it really interesting. So again, yes, it's this shift, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, awesome. So this is the second sort of the second mindset shift that I wanted to make. The idea that move away from scarcity. Do not fall in the trap of shaitan. There's a verse in the Quran that says, الشيطان يعدكم الفقر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الشيطان يعدكم الفقر ويأمركم بالفحشاء والله يعدكم مغفرة منه وفضلا والله واسع عليم. That shaitan will always promise you poverty, right? He'll always make you feel that you have less, you fear poverty, and this is not only poverty of wealth, poverty of mind, poverty of ideas, poverty of time, that I don't have enough time, don't have enough money, don't have enough anything. And then, and he always calls you towards fahsha, towards wrongdoing. And Allah says, Wallahu ya'idukum maghfirat minhu fadla. Allah promises you forgiveness and bounty. Wallahu wasi'un alim. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wasi'. Wasi' is one of Allah's names, which means is benevolent. He'll give beyond expectation. So approach Ramadan from that mindset, the mindset of, this is going to be a great month. This is going to be an amazing month. I'm going to get so much, I'm going to quadruple my productivity across all my roles through this month. It's going to be an incredible experience, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so this is what I hope that, shift inshallah ta'ala. So we details the question in terms of this webinar tomorrow. It was same time, but yes, we'll be sending recording of this webinar later, inshallah ta'ala. But I hope you'll join the live, because you can see it's a lot more fun when you're live and talking to everyone else, inshallah ta'ala. So that's the second mindset shift, inshallah ta'ala. So let's move on to the third mindset shift. Now, the third mindset shift is, again, to think of Ramadan from survival to thriving. And for you to think about this, there are three levels of Ramadan, right? 3 ways you approach Ramadan. You can approach Ramadan like an amateur, right? Or hobbyist, which means like, okay, I'll do the fasting, I'll do maybe a couple of tarawih here and there, some Quran, but hey, I'm not going to kill myself. And that's kind of like on an amateur level. And then there's the professionals, right? The people who are professional Ramadan, I call it professional Ramadan goers, right? The people who know, who got everything down, right? The professionals in terms of, they finish the Quran, they go to work on time, they're professional, they understand how to manage themselves in Ramadan, and they're doing well. But again, they're not perfect, but they do well. Then we have the elites, right? These are the Olympics, people like, imagine like the Michael Phelps of this world who are super careful about every choice they make, what they eat, when they sleep, who they talk to, what they do, how much exercise they do. Like everything is like to the T, because they want to get the gold medal of Ramadan, which is the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to come out of Ramadan achieving that God consciousness. Now, I want you all to hopefully approach Ramadan like an athlete, whether it's professional at least, or elite. If you're already professional, move on to the elite stage. And that means really thinking through and rethinking through every single thing you do in Ramadan, almost every single hour. Is this the best thing I could do now? Could I be doing something else? And when you start thinking from that perspective, it really shifts your perspective. Now, I'm excited because next 2 days, tomorrow and the day after, we're going to basically spend a lot more time on these two, the highlighted yellow here, the sleep part, fitness part, and also on the last, we're gonna spend a lot of time on the social spirit of Ramadan. So if you guys stick around, inshallah ta'ala, for these two, today, tomorrow, and after tomorrow, we'll have 2 more webinars like these, which are practical, useful. So to get to know exactly the decision you got to make into what to eat, how to sleep, fitness, coffee, all that stuff. We'll cover that tomorrow. And of course, in the last day, we'll talk about how to think of different ways to automate your deeds. So that's going to be on the last day, inshallah. So think like an athlete. And athletes have what they have these mental models. It's funny, if you ever read about Michael Phelps, who's has like 20 plus gold Olympic swimming for the men. What he does before a race is that he actually thinks through and he plays a movie in his head, literally plays a movie in his head of how the race is going to go. Now, imagine you take that concept, it's called, building build them for each day of Ramadan. So literally before, let's say Ramadan starts on Wednesday or Thursday, you think at night like, how will my day look like? What time will I wake up? What will I eat? How will I go? Where will I go to pray? How much Quran will I recite? Who am I going to talk to? What time will I start working? What are the things I'm going to work on first? What's next? When am I going to take a nap? What am I going to do extra socially for my family, friends, and colleagues? And you almost play this movie in your head of your perfect, amazing, elite status Ramadan, right? And you just work through that. And then the next day you actually live it because you've seen it in your head. It becomes much easier for you to actually experience that elite status versus you just like, wake up and it's like, oh my God, here we go again. Let's see how today goes and just trying to wing it. So really thinking like an athlete is the third mindset shift that hopefully y'all makes clear. Does this make sense? Okay. Awesome. So Hina saying athlete example is awesome to explain. Great. Awesome. Ariba is saying this is putting impact on her thoughts. Brilliant. Excellent. Okay. Awesome. So think of these mental models. I think you guys will enjoy this. I mean, honestly, sit at the tonight, pen and paper. Again, just start thinking, what would be my Ramadan game plan? Literally, what about, every sports have a game plan. What would be a Ramadan game plan? How would I think? And inshallah, if you guys are part of Ramadan prep week, of the Productive Muslim Ramadan Prep Week, we are sending you ideas to include your game plan. How to recite Quran, the dua list, we're going to send you tomorrow a 30-day meal and fitness planner. So you don't have to think about your meals and fitness, just follow that and you'll be fine. So we got a lot of resources for you, inshallah, to make sure that you get the best Ramadan ever, inshallah. Okay, awesome. So it's 45 minutes, and I want to make sure that I don't want to bore you to death. So I'm going to give you guys a quick break. So I'm going to take a 2-minute break. This is also give my voice throat a bit of a challenge. But in the break, I'm going to play a short video of basically Launch Goods Ramadan Challenge. Like I said, this webinar is sponsored by them. They are, basically they made this event free for all of you. So I want to say thank you to the Launch Good team for this. And basically I want to get you guys to check out launchgood.com/productive-muslim. And if you normally give charity in Ramadan, if you normally someone who likes to give charity in Ramadan, I'm sure all of you are, this is a great opportunity for you to really start what I call diversify your investments, diversify your akhirah investment. Because what they do is that you join this challenge, just takes couple of clicks, and you just decide how much you want to give every single day. It could be like $1 all the way to how much you want to give every single day for Ramadan. And then they will automatically deduct that every single day for Ramadan and give it to some inspiring, validated causes around the world. Like last year, I supported a women's shelter. I supported a deaf Muslims book. I supported things that I would never go out of my way to find because I wouldn't know where to find them. But Launch Good team does the hard work for you. So if you have a chance, please do check out launchgood.com Product Muslim. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to first play a quick video, and then we're going to do. Okay, so with that, I want you guys to seriously consider joining the Ramadan Challenge. You're going to see a button coming up next to you that says Join Launch Ramadan Challenge. Click here to join. You click on that link. Just fill in the details. I'll give you guys a minute or two. Should not take you more than 2 minutes. And then we're going to go on to the last part of the session, which is talks about how to actually plan your Ramadan day. And again, thinking through that mental model for yourself. So just click on that button, which is on the right, says click here to join. And you'll be able to see exactly, you're able to see where this is and join inshallah. So if you joined, let us know if you joined in the chat. I'd love to hear if you guys join. Okay. Alrighty, so we're going to start in about another 2 minutes. Taking a break, a voice break for myself. And if you guys are in this page, just go to Ramadan, launchgood.com/Product Muslim and join the Launch Good Challenge. And if you already joined, let us know. Text to here and say, hey, I've joined. Bismillah. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Alhamdulillah. So starting. Okay, Ariba just joined. Thank you, Ariba. Well done. Awesome. And please enjoy your family and friends, inshallah. So just check out launchgood.com. Binta, you joined. Thank you so much. Check out the launchgood.com/Productive Muslim and you'll see the video there, inshallah. So excellent. All right, Binta, thank you. Ariba, thank you. Let's have one more person who joined, inshallah. A few more people join, inshallah. Claire joined. Excellent. Thank you so much. Ashraf joined. Well done. Thank you all. And again, I mean, I'm excited for you because you will really enjoy this Ramadan. It's fun when you see every day you get an email from LaunchGood. They tell you, hey, you supported this project. Like, whoa, really? Like, you don't know which project that you're going to support in advance, so it's going to get a little surprise. So when you do get an email end of the day, even if you had a bad Ramadan day, let's say you had a really tough day, you missed suhoor or something like that, it was a bad day. At the end of the day, you see that, subhanAllah, something's happening in the background. Your money being donated to great cause, and you just haven't done. You just took that, did that automatically. So you made that decision. You made a smart choice in the beginning. So thank you so much for you guys for joining. So let's continue our webinar. Okay, so now let's talk about your ideal Ramadan routine. And so this is kind of stop playing mental model. Now again, I'm conscious that I'm not going to give you a prescriptive hour-by-hour plan, because each of you have, of course, you live in different parts of the world. MashaAllah, we have a very global audience today. Each of you have different professions, different start and times to work. Some of you are stay-at-home parents. Some of you have other full-time jobs. Some of you work in the night. Some work in the day. So I'm not going to sort of give you an hour-by-hour prescription. However, I want you to tonight, or ideally tonight, because I don't want to forget this, is to open up your calendar and do the following, right? So open up your 30-day Ramadan calendar. It could be on your Apple calendar, it could be a Google calendar, it could be on your phone, could be on the wall, on a whiteboard, wherever you kind of keep track of things, like it does your calendar. And for the next 30 days, for Ramadan 2018, start with these steps. Number one, block out Salah and Quran times. Okay, so block out the 5 daily prayers. Literally block them out. So again, if you're at work, for example, and you're using Outlook at work, and blocking your Outlook, Google, and anything that syncs with your phone, you want to see a visual, basically a visual map of how you're going to be spending 30 days of Ramadan. Now we have a worksheet on Productive Muslim, which I'll happy to send out to you, after this webinar, inshallah, which kind of you can sort of fill in an hour-by-hour plan. But honestly, I use my own calendar, to be honest, just my normal Apple calendar or whatever calendar you use, and start blocking out when is each salah time. So I'm going to literally block that out. Now make sure you block out the full time, not just the 10 minutes you're going to pray. Literally the time it takes you to get up, make wudu, the time it takes you to, if you're going to go to the masjid, to get to the masjid and back, the time it takes you to pray the sunnah prayers. Maybe it's like half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how far you live from the mosque. But really just block those times out. Also block out Quran time. Like, when will you sit down and actually start Quran? Again, Ramadan is the month of the Quran. You really want to start building a relationship. And again, it's about helping that process goals. So think about, when will you sit down and recite the Quran? So think about a time in your calendar, ideally minimum half an hour. Don't go less than half an hour. You don't want to do 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Give yourself a good stretch of half an hour minimum. If you go longer, great. And see if you can have multiple of those sessions. Maybe half an hour in the morning, maybe half an hour before iftar time. Think of blocking that time out. Secondly, block out your sleep and nap times. I literally have time in my calendar, nap time, sleep time. So block those two out. Again, you want to make sure that you're conscious of how many hours of sleep you're trying to get. Now, for those of you who are worried about sleep and when we're going to sleep, we're going to talk a lot about sleep in tomorrow's webinar, even tomorrow's articles that are sent as part of Ramadan Prep Week. So make sure that you block out your sleep and nap times as well. So as you block out sleep and nap times, that will help you know that, okay, these are the times I'm going to sleep and how many hours did you sleep. And if you know, find out more about that, we're going to share resources about sleep tomorrow, inshallah. Then block out meals times. Okay, Ramadan is easy, iftar, suhoor, maybe a snack after Taraweeh, but you're going to block out your meal times. And then, of course, block out work and school, right? So depends when school works for you, or when work starts for you, when college starts for you. Block out those out. Maybe you have exams in Ramadan. Some of you in the UK have exams. So start blocking those up. So now your calendar is getting really full, right? You have the 5 daily prayers, you have the sleep and nap, you have the meals, and then your school. Then, of course, we don't live in a bubble. We have things to do. We have to go groceries. We have to go fuel up our car. We have to drop our kids to school, pick them up later on, go to the doctor's appointment. So all these chores and errands and appointments, block them out again. So put that and add them to your calendar as well. And the last one, now that you kind of have all of these blocked out, then you start thinking about your Ramadan goals. Okay, let's say you had a Ramadan goal, get to know your neighbor. Or we had the Ramadan goal of praying extra Taraweeh prayers, or Ramadan goal of volunteering for the masjid, right? Or volunteering for local charity, or doing something beyond and above what you normally do. Start blocking time out. Or for me, for example, it was like writing 1,000 words a day for my book, for example. So that was a Ramadan goal, so block time out for that as well. Now, if you've gone through this entire exercise and you ask yourself, well, do I have any free hours left? Now, if you mostly pro by now, be like, okay, I'm chock-a-block. If I'm gonna like really have all this lined up, I would rather have breathing space. And if you've reached that level, then you need to start making choices. What will you cut down? What will you increase? And this is where, again, this is where sometimes you got to be realistic. You see, when expectations is higher than reality, you're going to be disappointed. How many times you do this? We set such high expectations for Ramadan, and then reality hits us, and we feel disappointed and feel bad and feel guilty at the end of Ramadan. But when expectations, are equal to reality, then at least we feel like, okay, I could do this. This is doable. So I want you to have a reality check, because sometimes you go through this exercise, realize, oh my goodness, I actually don't have time for some of the goals I set myself, or I don't have time. I might have to cut down on some commitments because it's just not relevant for Ramadan, for example. So you start really thinking about that balance we basically come to talk about. So if you have 3 hours left, great. Now you start thinking, well, how can I either relax in those hours above and beyond what I normally do? Does this exercise make sense? I'm make sure that this exercise makes sense. Okay. And again, thank you to all everyone who joined, from Suma to Nia to Wanda, Jamila, Angel, Ashraf, who joined the Ramadan Challenge. But does this make sense? This whole idea of just starting to building a reality checklist that will help you balance across all your roles. Okay. So in this sharing a bit of a bad experience, sharing food, again, sometimes you'll face that's part of the growing process. Again, finding somebody else, working with a neighbor, maybe perhaps reaching out regularly. Sometimes it takes a while. So once you start building, once you start having a visual map, and I remember working with one of my coaching clients, and we just built this visual map of his calendar. Not just, normally calendars look just, we've only put work, but once you start putting prayer and putting Quran and putting, everything else that matters in our life, not just work. It's amazing how we start realizing, wow, we're a full human being. We're not just we only have this work calendar. We actually have a personal calendar and a spiritual calendar and a community calendar. And if I were you, and for those of you who know Google Calendar or Apple calendars, I'll have a different color for each of those type of calendars. I have let's say green, being cliche, green for spiritual calendar, blue for work calendar, let's say purple or pink for family calendar, and let's say yellow for community calendar. And then when you start filling up your calendar, you can see almost a visual, colorful map. I was saying, wow, like I spend a lot of time, like a lot of my work, a lot of my life is blue or green or pink or whatever. And that way gives you an idea of how well you're balancing across your roles in life. And I think this is another dimension of this exercise. I hope I haven't confused anybody. Does this make sense? Okay. Does this make sense? Awesome. Glad it makes sense. Okay, so we're coming up to almost top of the hour, so I don't want to take too much of your time. I promise this will be within the hour. Maybe I might go a little bit extra time, but just on this part, sometimes this is kind of bring it all home together now. So like at the beginning of our call, we said that one of the things that people are nervous about is that they're nervous about not being able to balance between spirituality and work and family, basically. And when they are not able to balance across their roles, they feel uncomfortable, feel like, maybe I'm being a bad employee or bad family member or bad spiritually, quote unquote. So one way to rethink this whole work-life balance, especially in Ramadan, and this is a good map for you to think about after Ramadan, is to ask yourself, what are my roles in life? Right? For example, let's say I'm putting my roles here. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a husband, I'm a CEO, I'm a Muslim, I'm a neighbor, I'm a volunteer. And you can there are 10 other roles you can put for yourself, right? I'm a brother, I'm a son-in-law, I'm a nephew, I'm an uncle, right? All these roles you play for yourself. So set yourself these roles and then give yourself a score from 0 to 100. So how am I performing? This is completely subjective. It's not a scientific thing. Just give yourself a score like, I feel like I'm a 50% dad, maybe a 20% husband, maybe a 30% Muslim, maybe just give yourself a score. Again, it's nothing that is, no one's going to judge you. It's just you asking yourself, how well am I performing across these roles? Now once you have this map, you have the score for each of those roles. The next question, third question, ask yourself, well, what's the minimum performance level that Islam requires me to perform at for this role? What I mean by this, imagine for the father role, right? I'm a father. That means that there is a minimum requirement as a father, Islam requires, for example, Islam requires us to take care of our children, to basically feed them and clothe them, to teach them La ilaha illallah, teach them the basics of Islam, the manners of Islam. These are basic rights, to name our children, to have good names, to give them, of course, to feed them and make sure they're healthy. These are basic requirements. These are basic rights that my children have upon me, for example. Now, if I go above and beyond that, if I take them on vacation, if I buy them gifts, if I, whatever, if I go above and beyond for that, then that's me doing ihsan, being the best version I can in the father role. But if I do less than this, if I just, I don't know, don't feed them or don't teach them Islam or something like that, if I perform less than that, then I really am, unfortunately, doing injustice to them. I'm not fulfilling their right upon me. Now, think about this across all your roles. Each one of these roles, there are conditions Islam requires. For example, let's say a son role, right? There are certain conditions that as a son or as a daughter that your parents have upon you. And the same thing, and this of course changes as his parents get older and the younger, so on and so forth. Islam, for example, even being a Muslim, right? There are certain obligatory matters that you have to do as a Muslim. And then there's things if you go above and beyond that, these are voluntary, which is also great, which is great for you if you do them. So here's the message here, and perhaps this will be the last point before we wrap up, because I know you guys perhaps want to go. If you fulfill the rights of each of these roles, meaning the right of all the roles you play, then that's you achieving balance in the rights of each of these roles. And when you think about this, if you want to ask me what exactly is the right of a father, exactly right, these are things you can ask your scholar, your local imam. They can tell you all these details, especially given the context you live in. But if you start thinking about this perspective, that am I fulfilling the rights of others according to Islam, according to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If I am, then that means that I am, quote unquote, having a balanced lifestyle. Now, it does not mean I should end there. It means that, okay, at least I should make sure that across all my roles, I'm fulfilling a minimum balance, a minimum performance level, that I feel like, yes, this is, I'm for the right. There's no one owes me anything. No one's going to think I'm doing injustice to them. I'm giving each one their due right. And this is a beautiful example of our Prophet, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, because you think about it, he was incredible in terms of, he had family, he had children, he had grandchildren, he had community members, he had friends, he had a whole humanity to save, right? And yet he fulfilled every single aspect of his role. And he was able to be the best version of him, best version for all of us, best example, best role model for all of us, through fulfilling the rights of every single one of these people. So when it comes to balance, I want you to think in terms of huquq, or the rights of others upon you, and try your best to have to think about the rights of others upon you, and how can you make sure that you fulfill those rights, especially in Ramadan. If you're going to neglect your family to focus or to do something extra in spirituality, then that's you perhaps not fulfilling the health of your family. If you're going to neglect your work because you're trying to be more spiritual, then remember, you signed a contract, and that contract is a right of your employer upon you, and you have to fulfill that contract. So you start thinking in terms of rights and responsibilities versus thinking about, okay, how much time should I give each thing? Does this make sense? Make sure that this makes sense. So Michelle asked, do you know the minimum rights of a mother? Again, you could go into a lot more detail, and it depends on the context, how young the children are, how old the children are, do you have a partner supports you, living alone? Do you have to go to work, not have to go to work? There's so many conditions, Michelle. So I don't want to give you like just a bold answer. Here's the rights of the mother, here's the rights of the father. I'd rather you take your context, your specific context, to your local scholar imam, and say, here's my situation, here's what I have to do. What is the right that my children have upon me? What is the right that so and so have right upon me? And we start fulfilling the rights of those around, inshallah. Okay. All right, so I want to apologize. I know I went 3 minutes over the 1 hour mark, so I hope you guys forgive me for that, inshallah. I hope this was useful, that this was beneficial. And I just want to ask you one thing, which is, what is the one thing that you learned from this webinar and you're going to implement this Ramadan? I'd love you to share that with me. What's the one thing you learned from this webinar that you're saying, you know what, I'm going to work on this. This is going to be something that I'll really take forward, inshallah. Bismillah. What's the one thing? I know the one thing you like to share. Okay, so Claire is managing your time. Okay, so hopefully manage your time across your roles. Okay, so it's not just about managing my time across one aspect, but across your roles, inshallah. Okay. Okay, balance. Switch from surviving to thriving, Nia. Excellent. Okay, that's powerful. Okay, managing time across roles, surviving to thriving. Setting 3 to 5 goals, want to make them more challenging. Okay. Do the calendar thing, minimum rights, responsibilities. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Okay, to think about those factors that will help you keep Ramadan persistent ever. Thank you. Wow, awesome. I'm really, really, really happy that inshallah this is useful, it was practical. And again, I'm so excited. This is all part of Ramadan Prep Week. So if you have not joined, do check out productiveness.com/Ramadan-prep-week. Sorry, not the most useful, not the most easy to type up link, but this is the link. Basically, every single day, starting yesterday, we're sending you awesome resources. You know, I know that there's information overload on the internet nowadays with Ramadan, right? And alhamdulillah, everyone's doing amazing work, and I respect all the work that's been done online. All the people putting in great articles, great information about Ramadan. So we wanted to basically give you the best out of the best, right? So inshallah ta'ala, we've been doing Productive Ramadan courses in our academy, in productiveness.com itself for the last, alhamdulillah, almost 7 years now. So we've kind of heard a lot of the ups and downs of Ramadan, people who face challenges. So we've put together these resources, practical resources, plus these live webinars. So there'll be another webinar tomorrow, which will be an interview with the founder of amanafitness.com. And she'll share with us some incredible new science on nutrition, fitness, sleep, coffee, the whole works. So we're going to have fun with that shot tomorrow, same time. And also on Thursday, we'll have another session, another webinar, also interviewing with the founder and CEO of LaunchGood himself, talking about automating our good deeds. So it'll be some really great tips there, but how can we go a bit more social and how go about, go above our comfort zone, inshallah ta'ala, and make that happen. So I want to say again, you will receive a recorded version of this webinar right after this call. So you get an email actually from webinar the Jam, inshallah ta'ala, as well as an email from me basically telling you here's a recording. Plus I'll throw in there that worksheet, which basically helps you plan each hour from Ramadan, hour by hour. So you hopefully achieve that balance you were looking through. And again, last but not least, please do jump in. If you have not jumped in and supported launchgood.com in a Ramadan challenge, again, this is not for them, this is for you. Honestly, it's fun, it's awesome, it's easy, it's practical. Check out launchgood.com/productive Muslim. And again, thank you to LaunchGood because they made this webinar happen. So thank you to LaunchGood, and inshallah ta'ala, hopefully you guys join in and be part of their challenge, inshallah ta'ala. With that, I want to say thank you. Now, I just for, because I love, this guy's been incredible. If you guys want to ask any questions on today's topic, I'm happy to stick around for another few minutes, inshallah ta'ala. If you have any questions you want to ask, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes here, feel free to ask, inshallah ta'ala. I know they haven't had a chance to send you answer your questions. So please do ask your questions now, and I'll basically shut up and wait for your questions, inshallah. And if no questions, then we're going to jump out and have a great Ramadan Mubarak to all of you guys. Bismillah. Okay. All right. So we're winding down. So thank you, Haja. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Banazir. Thank you, Hina. Great questions, Hina. Jessica, thank you. Ashraf, Jazakallah khair. Khadija, Jazakallah khair. Okay, so Hina's asking about struggling to finish Quran or to read the translation. Again, Hina, I would focus on the process. Don't focus on it, ticking a box, right? Focus on the process, which is I want to spend half an hour every day reciting the Quran with translation, and just focus on that process and let that be your hopefully new routine that outlives your Ramadan. So don't think about just ticking the boxes and like, hey, I achieved this goal. Is to ask yourself, what process, what habit, what routine should I focus on this Ramadan that will outlast outside Ramadan, inshallah. So I hope that answers your question, inshallah. Zakaria, sorry, I cannot answer your questions because I'm not a qualified scholar to answer your questions about, missing a fast for exams. So please do ask a scholar or an imam about that. I cannot answer that question for you. Clara, thank you so much for getting the book. Really appreciate it, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Okay. So yes, Keith, as I mentioned, I cannot answer those questions because these are more jurisprudence questions. I'm not a qualified scholar to answer them. So I'd like to you guys, productivity research. I'm crazy about productivity. but unfortunately not a qualified scholar, so I can answer the question, inshallah. Okay, thank you, Zakaria. Okay. So Aya, the question that basically, it's not about choosing a side. It's actually saying how can you be the best version of yourself in Ramadan, right? So when you have that mindset shift, it's not about me being only focused on spirituality, and it's not about me cutting, being pragmatic, practical, and not doing anything extra. It's saying, well, I want to be the best version of myself so I can achieve that God consciousness across all my roles, basically. Okay. Awesome. Okay, what else? Any other questions? Okay. Awesome. This has been a great group. So much fun. And I'm so happy. I have to go back and read some of your chats because you guys had a great interaction. Some of you were great. Oh, my Ramadan goals. Oh boy. So here's the thing about goals, by the way. This is maybe a good tip to share is actually it is encouraged not to share your goals. I don't know if you guys saw TED talk about this, where it says sometimes if you share your goals openly, you're less likely to achieve it. So, and there's a hadith that says, "Ista'inu biqada'i hawaijikum bil-kitman," that seek the help of fulfilling your getting things done with silence. Sometimes we go around, oh, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do this, do that. But once you say that, it's almost like, again, your brain thinks you've already achieved it and you stop doing those goals. And sometimes, of course, it might make someone else, uncomfortable or jealous, all that stuff. So, keep those goals to yourself. These are personal goals for your own self-development. So just focus, keep it quiet. It's just for you, and just focus on getting them done. Start talking about them. So I think that way, inshallah, hopefully helps, inshallah. But yeah, so I don't know if I answered your question here, but I'm trying to get away, inshallah. Okay. In terms of rating your family, rate you again. I'll be careful of that. In terms of your family performance, the thing is, here's the thing. Let's be honest. People around you always rate it. Oh, you're not. Either they really like you and they say, oh, mashallah, you're 100%, or they might not like you that much and they'll say, oh no, you're terrible, kind of thing. Oh, you're not doing enough for me, kind of thing. The judge here is not whether people think you're fulfilling the rights. The judge here is, am I, according to the Quran and Sunnah, am I fulfilling the rights of my parents, or the rights of my family, or the rights of my spouse, or the rights of my children? And if you're according to, because that's on the day of judgment, that's how Allah will judge you Himself for that. And subhanAllah, there's so much mercy in this. It's not like a perfect science. There's so much mercy around this because every situation is different. Every human is different. Every family situation is different. So it's not a black and white thing, but just be conscious and aware of these rights and responsibilities instead of just you going all out. And ignoring them sometimes, or trying to please too much, that you realize that it's not helping achieve other goals, basically. Okay. So Jamila says, how do you avoid community riyas? So again, here's the thing. So showing off is not about only like not doing the deeds. So some people use that excuse. I don't want to show off. I don't recite Quran because I'll be showing off. I mean, just recite the Quran. Whether it's you trying to best saying it's more of a mindful thing. If you find yourself that, let's say you're doing something good and your heart has that little bit of inkling, oh my God, I feel like I'm good at this. At that instant, seek repentance and ask Allah to cleanse your heart. And then when you find yourself, again, you're doing something and you like people's praise, seek repentance and ask Allah to purify your heart. So that should not stop you from doing the good deeds in the beginning. So don't say, okay, I'm not going to pray because in the masjid because basically it's Riya. No, it should not stop you from doing those good deeds. You should try your best to do those good deeds and check your heart very, very often. It's hard, it's not easy, but check your heart very, very often, inshallah. Okay. Shahbaz asking with a daily routine. Whoa, that's going to be in a couple of articles. I think we have, it's not about my daily routine. I'd like you to check out a better article is what's the daily routine of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have an article on that. And if I were you, I would check that article versus, my daily routine. So if you go to productimus.com, check out the daily routine of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And we have an incredible article on that. So check that out and inshallah follow that, inshallah. Okay. Okay, so Saad saying how do you keep your motivation going? If you sometimes feel tired after school or work because you lose focus, and that's Saad, that's part of you recognizing like, okay, if I'm going to be tired after school, so don't schedule, hard task or anything that requires a lot of motivation for you after school, for example, after work, for example. Try to say to yourself, well, let me give myself a 20-minute power nap, for example. Let me take a shower. Let me go out and do something for the community volunteering. So that get the social energy will get me excited, for example. And if iftar time, maybe have a little small cup of tea to get you a little bit awake, and then go out for tarawih. So it's you being aware, because again, you're a human being, you're not a machine, right? You cannot be 100% productive all the time. You got to really start understanding those rhythms of your day. Sometimes the day you feel great, sometimes the day you feel tired. So work with that rhythm. Don't work against it. Work with that rhythm, Shah Ta'ala. Okay. Hira, productivity during a long commute. Check out, again, an article on Productive Muslim called The Productive Muslim Commute. And we have some incredible ideas based on how to have productive long commute. So, whether it's a 16-hour flight, which sometimes I have to do if I go, if I travel, or if it's an hour ride or an hour on the train, we have some great ideas on productivemuslim.com for the online Shah Ta'ala. Okay. Okay, so Keith talks about drinking plenty of water. That helped him, but of course you might be careful about you have to use the bathroom every hour. Okay. Okay. All right. Angel shared the article on the daily routine of Rasulullah. Thank you so much, Angel. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So Khadija saying forming a Ramadan goal. So Ramadan goal, again, this year, because Ramadan is a couple of days away or 2 days away, 1 day away, just choose 3 to 5 things that you feel, if I can get these done, or if I can achieve this process in my life and hopefully outlast of Ramadan, I'll feel great. I'll feel like this was a really awesome Ramadan. It could be that you pray every day on time. It could be recite Quran half an hour every day. It could be you give charity on a daily basis. It could be that you write often. It could be that you spend quality time with your parents or with your children or with your spouse. Choose 3 to 5 goals that are measurable, that are stretchable, that something that will get stretch goal, and just go for it. Right? Don't overthink these goals. Don't make them too complicated. Don't make them too, just something that will help you move and become a better version of yourself, so that once you quote unquote graduate from the school of Ramadan, you feel like, alhamdulillah, this was a great Ramadan, and I really helped me improve and move an next notch. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. Well, again, we'll say thank you. This has been great. Some great questions there. And it's Jazakumullah khair. And again, hope to see all of you tomorrow, starting the same time. You'll get emails reminding you again about when to join and the links and everything else. I'm glad the technology worked. Alhamdulillah, there were no issues. So I'm glad you guys found this useful, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. We're going to have Amana Fitness, CEO of Amana Fitness, is Amina Khan, with us, sharing some exciting research on resetting your health in Ramadan, and really the health side being a booster for the spiritual side. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanak Allahumma hamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.